Now, for those of you who only vote in the presidential election, your voter registration card has expired, because it's not, you can't say, well, I vote in every presidential election, so therefore I'm a registered voter. Not, you're not. They dropped your names off the list because, they're purging lists not too early, but on that very day, they're purging voters off the list. So you need to check. I'm going to say once again, go to vote.gov. It's your best friend, but it lets you know whether your name is on the list or not. That certificate, you need to remember and you think about it seriously before you sign it, because that can lead you down a path that you might not want to go, simply because you thought you were a registered voter. And this is not going to be the time to just think that you are. So remember the IDs I told you that you could take with you, and be prepared. And you know what? The best time to vote is doing early voting. You can also go to the Bell County, courts. Go to the Bell County's website, and you can also download a ballot, a sample ballot. You can download it. You can take that into the polling site with you. You can use your little cheat sheet in there with you. Cannot use your phone. So remember, say it again. You cannot use your phone, but you could take a cheat sheet. You could take that sample ballot that you downloaded and checked off on. You can. Also remember, this year there's some write-in candidate that's running for office. So you have to make sure that if you do vote for the write-in candidate, you spell the name correctly, put it in the right spot on the ballot. That's if you're voting for someone that's a write-in. Also, when you go vote, somewhere it should be posted that, this person is running for this seat as a write-in candidate. So if you are voting for that person, number one, put it in the correct spot. Two, spell the name correctly. If you misspell the name, that person doesn't get that vote. There's no, I spelled it I sounded it out, and that's how I spelled it. No, make sure you get it correct so that that person can get that vote. Because if not, they won't get it. And it's just not going to happen. They won't get it, and it'll be gone. So I want you to remember all those things I just told you about voting next week. And remember, you can vote on Saturday, which is Make a Difference Day. So some of you groups and clubs and organizations, you're looking for something to do for Make a Difference Day, call some senior citizens and take them to go vote. Just say, hey, call them on Friday, next week, one day, and say, hey, I'm going to vote on Saturday. It's Make a Difference Day. You want to go with me? Take some young people to go vote. For their first time, take them to go vote. But, one of the things you can do for Make a Difference Day is to take someone to the polls with you and go vote. Okay, I'm finished talking about voting now, so we're going to move right along. And we're going to talk about Make a Difference Day. Next Saturday is Make a Difference Day, and I do want to let you know that Kids Community Connections will be participating on Make a Difference Day. And what I chose to do for Make a Difference Day is the Bell County Child Welfare Board takes care of foster kids and kids in kinship. Believe it or not, we have a lot of kids in foster care. And we have 117 families doing kinship care. Did you know that in Bell County we had 117 families? That's a lot of families that's taking in relatives, friends, kids, or whatever as kinship to take care of them and support them. And most of them don't get any money for it because of the way they went about it. They didn't go about it illegally. It's just that there's a trick to the situation. And I'll explain that. Kinship, as you know, is when you take in somebody's kids from a relative or a close family friend. You took the kids in and they're yours, and they're yours. They're just yours due to the families losing them. One way of getting them is when CPS picks those kids up and you get the kids from CPS and you take them into kinship, the state pays you for that. But if you find out that the kids are just out there and someone needs to take them and you go to court, you step in, go to court, file paperwork, the judge awards you the kids, you don't get any money from the state. Does anybody tell you that beforehand? Nope, they don't. But those are the two ways. But since we have all those families, the Bell County Child Welfare Board has what's called a rainbow room. When kids are taken from CPS, they leave with nothing. You can't say, can they take their clothes? Because those clothes don't belong to them, because their parents bought them. So actuality, a child owns actually nothing. So they leave their house with nothing. Well, because I'm on the Bell County Child Welfare Board, we have a rainbow room. In the rainbow room, the caseworker takes the child in there from age 0 to 17, and everything that they could need in life for their first couple of days is in their rainbow room. Clothes, shoes, has gloves, backpacks, purses, toiletries, diapers, everything that a kid would need to start their little life all over again is in the rainbow room. And we get donations. So what I'm doing for Make a Difference Day is I'm collecting diapers. Oh my gosh. I'm collecting diapers and anything new for a child I am collecting for Make a Difference Day. So just want to let you know that we're a part of Make a Difference Day. And you know what? I'm going to stretch it and just say KISS 1031. What we're doing for Make a Difference Day. Joe is looking at me like, what? No, she didn't say that. So we're participating in Make a Difference Day because, one, we're about the community. We care about the community. So you're going to find us at the Rainbow Room in Bell County, one of the Rainbow Rooms. Each CPS office has a Rainbow Room. So we will drop off things at the Rainbow Room on Saturday, and it will be distributed out. If you drop things off at any Rainbow Room, and it's a lot, they're distributed amongst the other ones. There are 2 in Killeen and 1 in Temple. The one in Belton closed, so we just all merge together and support each other. We actually do. We even do county by county. Coryell County has a Rainbow Room, and you know, if we have a kid that's crossed over, you know, we support them too. We don't just say no, we can't do that. So that's what we're going to be doing for Make a Difference Day. Is we're going to be making a difference in the life of some children that are taken from their families, and we say Bell County has the highest rate of children taken from their families, but you got to remember we need to throw a lot of numbers to Fort Hood because a lot of kids from Fort Hood are taken from their families too, and we need to. That's something we need to look at, and we need to stop because those are our children. So we need to do something about that. But Make a Difference Day is next Saturday, so I hope everybody out there is doing something to make a difference for someone, because you got to remember the most important thing you're supposed to do while we're on Earth is to give back. And you know, I don't care if you go out and say, you know what, I rake the lady's leaves next door to me. Good, rake her leaves next door to her. Do something to make a difference in someone's life. It's an important day. Like I said, you can also use that day to take someone to the polls and vote, because that is making a difference. That's a huge difference we're making. But by all means, next Saturday is Make a Difference Day. So support it. Do something. Doing nothing is not a good. It shouldn't even be an option. But let's do something about it, and make a difference day. Make a difference in somebody's life, no matter who they are, how old they are. Just make sure that we make a difference in someone's life. By doing something, we can do the simplest thing, or we can do something really big. But do whatever you can for that day. And I want you to know, I'm going to stretch it because Joe is going to, kill me later, but it's okay. I'm going to say that KISS, at my KISS 1031, we're going to be out there for Make a Difference Day, and we're going to all support Rainbow Room. We're going to support them because, you know what? We love kids. And we want to see kids do and get the best that they can. And if we can help them that way, we'll help them that way, because kids all deserve a chance, just like the chances that we got. Okay, I know I'm giving y'all a bunch of information, but now let's move on to something very interesting. About 7 years ago, I think, we had a recall election. Jonathan O'Cray, who lives in City Killeen, decided to recall the city council. Well, first everybody was like, what the heck is a recall? Well, it's just that, recall. It's like recall parts on your car. You take it back, take the old part off, and get a new one in. So he did a recall on the city council. And first of all, people had to read to figure out what it was. Nobody believed it was going to happen. It was going to go over. But guess what it did? He won. They had to recall the city council, which was kind of wild there, because it had never been done. City Killeen. So it's one of those shake your head things. You know how you shake your head, go, how did that happen? Yeah, it was one of those events. And we thought that would never happen again, because why? Well, now guess what? We have a recall election again. And this recall election, was done by a lady named Holly Teal. If you remember Holly Teal, she ran for mayor last year for the city of Killeen. And a year before that, she ran for the city council. But she wrote a letter to do a recall election for Councilwoman Debbie Nash King and Councilman Jim Kilpatrick. Now, her recall is not due to something that they did wrong. So let's fix that. So before the story gets out there that oh my God, they're really bad people. They did this and that. No, she's not recalling for anything that they did. She's recalling the process that was used the process that was used when they won the election. Because a lot of times when things go and elections get screwed up, it's not the person. Sometimes it's the process. So her reason for recalling this election was because, and it's public knowledge, and I'm reading it off of her Facebook page, but Patsey Bracey signed a letter that she was running for Killeen City Council, and her paper said District 2. So her paper says she was running for City Council, District number 2, and she had it notarized because before you get to run and turn the form into the secretary, you have to be notarized. You have to get a notary to notarize, everything that you said. And the notary did notarize what she said. Well, later on, the city secretary had to do some checking, and the city secretary found out that Patsey Bracey did not live in District 2. She lived in District 3. So she was asked to come down to City Hall to fix that complaint, fix that she wasn't running in District 2. She lives in District 3, so she has to run in District 3. Now, as we know, if you get something notarized, it's it. That's it. You can't change it. You can't go scribble out and put something else in there, because that notary, when they notarized it, they notarized the document that you gave them, not some switch over, change over thing you did. So what happened? Holly Teal has got another. She sent out another page, amended page to that, where it shows that number one, that Patsey Bracey crossed out that she was running for District 2, and she added. She added District 3 in there and put her initials on this, Patsey Bracey. That she was running District 3, but she did that at the top, but on the bottom it still says District 2, so that part wasn't changed. And also the notary, that form is still he's still the notary. So the question about this recall is, number one, that Patsey Bracey, when she changed the form. But when she changed the form, she changed the top to say District 3. But the bottom part of the form still says District 2. Okay, so she was running in two districts at the same time, so that wasn't correct. And also the notary, the notary's name is still there. The sticker is still there. So all it was she just crossed out this and put this on there. Well, from what I know, like I said, when a notary signs something, it's supposed to stay the way the notary signed it. So Holly Teal is doing the recall, not because of anything that the candidates did. It's just the process to which the city did it, which would be the city secretary at that time. Because if the form would have stayed that she was running in District 3, which she didn't live in, she lived in, and if this form was stood the way it did stand, she was supposed to be unable to run because of this document was done wrong, redone by crossing names out. So you can see where one area says 3, the other area says 2. So actually, this application should have been kicked out, from what Holly's saying. It should have been kicked out, and the other 2 people should have been running in District 3. Now, if it was District 2, still should have been kicked out because it has 3 and 2 on the same form, and it would have been 3 people running District 2 instead of just 2. So what she's saying, why she's recalling the election, is because of this one form that was filled out incorrectly twice. You might as well say. So don't go out and say, Holly Teal is contesting the election, recalling the election because she don't like the candidates. That's not it. She's recalling it because of the paperwork that was used and, like I said, crossed out. And if you look on the Facebook page, Recall Elections, you see it on there plain as day where she changed it. It still says 3. She changed it to 3 on the top, and then on the bottom where it says District 2. So you can see where it was changed. So she's recalling the methods of which it was done, not the two candidates against it. So she's going to also put on her Facebook page where people can go and sign this form out. And can anybody do a recall election? Yes. And the way you do a recall election is you go to the city secretary and tell her you're doing a recall, and you tell her why you're doing it. She gives you the paperwork to okay you to do it, but she tells you how many people have to sign it. The number of people have to sign it goes by the last election of that same election that you're contesting. How many people voted? So a percentage of those people have to, a percentage, of that number have to sign her complaint form to recall the election. And when you do a recall, and the recall just is in your name, meaning you're working it by yourself, no one can assist you. Now, when Jonathan Okray did his recall, he listed himself and other people who were assisting him. So it allowed him to be in multiple places at the same time, doing his recall election. So I don't know how hers is, but if you want to sign it, you can. Just look on Facebook under recall elections, and you'll see all of her information there where she's doing this, the recall. And I'm not going to give any personal opinions on it. I'm just reading the document that's in front of me. Like I said, and you can get it off the website, off her Facebook page. But also, this is public information, so it's not even a secret. If you know what you're looking for, you can find it. And I know people want to know, how did you find it? And there are some people who are just researchers to see make sure everything went perfectly fine. And if you Google all this and get all the people, and open records requests, you find out how things are actually going. So you realize that, yeah, she can do this recall. She's got the information that's needed. She put it out in the public, and it's here. But like I said, just remember, and when you talk about it, remember to say that it's not against the two candidates. It's against the process that was used at that time by our former city secretary, because she's not even with us anymore. And when you look on the form on the Facebook page, all three forms actually, it will tell you what happened, and it will show you the crisscross and the errors made on the forms. Also on the Facebook page, you will see a letter from our city secretary, and that says that asks is she a registered voter and lives in District 3, and letter back to her, let her know that she's registered but not in District 3. It lets you know that she's in District 3 and not District 2. So that's there. And like I said, it was done by the then City Secretary, Diana Barker. And it's all was done January 30th of 2017 when all that came up to register to vote and all that things like that. And, also, if you want to run for city council, you have to live in the area at least 6 months before you can say, I'm going to run for council in this district, that district. If it's a district election that you're coming into, you got to live in that district for 6 months. So you just can't move over there 30 days prior and say, oh, yeah, I'm running for district 1, 2, 3, or 4. You have to live in that district for at least 6 months before you do so. So remember that for those who thinking about it or want to run for city council. And I know I told you can look at the Facebook page, so I guess I should give you the name of the Facebook page. And the name of the Facebook page is Killeen, Texas Recall, Councilwoman. It says Deb Nash King and Councilman Kilpatrick. And like I said, what she's saying is she's pointing out that the illegal way into which the application was done for Patsey Bracey to be on there. So, like I said, if you want to find out where she's going to be, you can. If you want to see all these documents, they're on Facebook. The Facebook page that I gave you, they're all on there. The original is on there, and the copy, I guess not the original, and the corrected one that's still incorrect because it still says two different things at one time. It's all there. And like I said, she's not fighting the two council people. She's fighting the methods of which the election was held. So if you for what she's doing, you're not against the two candidates, you're against the process. of this election. So just remember that it's two different things. It's not what you think. It's something totally different. And the reason why I keep saying it is because somebody's going to say, oh, yeah, she didn't like him. Well, no, she's doing that on the process. How does she come about it? Simple research and reading. You can open records requests and find out any piece of information that you want to from the city. And this is public knowledge. So it's not let you have to go buy it secretly or hide under the table, get a different agenda and all that. It's out there in the public for anybody to read and to see. So as you see, there's a lot of political things going on in our area that we might not have known about and we might have slept through or just wasn't paying attention to that's going on, and that we need to be aware of it. You know, we need to know what's going on in our communities and how things are going. And, you know, sometimes you wonder why people do all this research. And then sometimes you are glad that they're doing it, because if they didn't do it, you wouldn't know that what was really going on. When I first heard about this recall, you know, I went back and I'm thinking, what did they do? I did. I completely went back to, so what did they do? You know, I'm thinking, what did they do? And I did the same thing. And then, you know, I'm like, okay, let me go to this Facebook page. I went to the Facebook page. I'm like, oh, these candidates didn't do anything. This is about the process. Okay, so I quickly changed my mind, and not say I'm changing my mind to sign it, but I changed my mind as far as my thinking of what kind of website this was and why was she doing it. So I understand it now, and I'm better able to do something about it. And I just explained it to you, so you're better able to do something about it. You know, so for my last few minutes of being on the show, let's leave politics altogether, okay? Let's take it, put it on the shelf, because I think I beat it up enough where we're kind of informed. If you're not informed so far, I don't know how you missed it. But this week, on Thursday, on the 25th, Wednesday, the 25th of this month, the Texas, well, we're going to do a TSOI, which is Texas, actually what we are, we're an organization that we're against sex trafficking. And we're going to have a workshop, an informative workshop on the 25th of October at 6 o'clock at the Killeen Community Center. What we're doing is we're teaching you more and more about sex trafficking, because guess what? It's becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, the more we talk about it, the more it's happening. And we need to stop it. And the only way to stop it is through education and information. We need to open people's minds up and your eyes up to say we can't, you know, do it like we've done everything else and sweep it under the carpet until it hits you in the face. We need to be proactive about it and stop it before it continues. And it is continuing. In Bell County right now, yes, our numbers are high. Boys are taking more than girls right now because they can make more money off a boy. I know what I just said sounds horrible, but it's actually true. They can make more money off of a boy than a girl. So they're taking them, and they're taking children and babies. And if you look in the papers lately, you see a lot of arrests being made from that. And that's because we're bringing it up more. You know, when you start bringing topics more to the surface, they get talked about, things start happening at that point, because it becomes, whoa, it's right in my face. And it's not down the street, around the corner. It's right in my face. What am I going to do about it right now? So now that it's in your face right now, we need to do something about it. But I need you to come out at 6 o'clock on the 25th. Learn about it. Learn what it is and what it isn't. Learn that smuggling and trafficking are two different things, because people put them together and say, oh, they're the same thing. And they're not. They're not the same thing at all. I guess the only similarity they have is you're taken against your will, and the other one, you're paying for someone to do something for you, and it doesn't turn out right. So they're not the same. But I want you to come out, and you need to bring kids, because this is happening to our kids. So if you have children, bring your children. You know, whatever they hear is the truth. Whatever they hear is something they need to hear. Your child is not too old, so don't go through, oh, they're too old to be taken. I'm sorry, but they're still breathing. So they can be taken. So we need to learn about it, stamp it out. Yes, there's a lot of work we need to do and a lot to be done, but there always has been a lot of work to do and a lot to be done. So we can't complain about about having it now, because it's been always a lot for us to do. It's the point of who's going to do it, how we're going to divide it up, and who's going to tackle what. Or do we do the same thing, lay on the floor and just roll over and over and over and hope that nothing happens? And that doesn't work, because the more you roll over, the more you kick to roll over some more. So we need to stop rolling over and being kicked to roll over more and just, you know, become nothing but a doormat. We need to quit doing that. We need to stand up and be actions. Don't be reactionary. We need to be proactionary and get this done and get this stopped so that our kids will be safe. And voting, we need to make sure our rights are just and correct and not taken away. And I'm taken away by denying you the right to even register to vote. You know, we heard about the senior citizens that they denied the right to vote because they were in a senior citizens van going to a political, quote unquote, activity. So the van was stopped and they had to turn it around. That was crazy. But anyway, those things are happening, and not just everywhere else. They're happening in our own county, in our own cities. So open up your eyes, listen, and pay attention. I want to thank everyone for listening to KISS Community Connections at My KISS 1031. I hope you learned a whole lot this morning. I know I opened your mouth and just shoved it all in there, but you're okay. Your brain is strong. You can take it. I know you can do something about it. And if you have any questions, reach out to me and we can get it right. But I want to, like I said, thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections at My KISS 1031. And I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.